Chapter 1134, Mr. Door. As Trissy recited the words, the gems around her emitted cracking sounds as they shattered into powder and floated up. They shimmered with red, blue, green, or resplendent light before rapidly gathering into a torrent that surged towards the candle light on the altar. At the same time, strands of hair that had been burnt inside the cauldron joined the process. The fire began to expand and interweave with each other, turning increasingly dark, as if it was an illusory door that led to other worlds. Trissy immediately felt the surrounding temperature drop rapidly, as though countless dangers were seeping out of the fire. A sentence flashed across her mind. It was a reminder from Jayaman Sparrow. "Be careful of Mr. Door." As expected of someone with a messenger of that level. His understanding of Mr. Door and his confidence in knowing about my plans might be deeper and more precise than I imagined. Trissy slowly took a deep breath and patiently waited for the subsequent changes. In just a blink of an eye, she felt that the void in the room thinned significantly. Many of the places were covered with shadows, as though there were large amounts of indescribable creatures hiding behind them. The dim, expanding flame slowly turned into a gigantic, deep crimson vortex. As the vortex spun, an ethereal voice that could pierce through one's spirit body finally sounded from the bottom. "Cheek." Upon hearing this voice, the blood vessels in Trissy's forehead throbbed. It was as if her head had been pierced by countless steel needles as they crazily stabbed and twisted. Her black hair flared up despite the lack of wind. Every strand grew slightly thicker, and the skin on her face became transparent. Her blood vessels protruded out one after another, densely packed like a spider's web. After spending a great deal of effort, Trissy finally managed to control herself. She then heard the voice that could make most Beyonders lose control, chuckling and saying, "It looks like its Cheek's blessed." Back then, we had seen the second blasphemy slate together, and we were able to surpass Sequence 1 and live to this day. Now, the only ones left are likely the Artisan, Cheek, and me. Trissy ignored Mr. Door's poignant sigh and said with a twisted expression, "Honorable Mr. Door, I have something to ask you." "Speak. The time spent being lost and trapped in the darkness, and the storm is just too boring. It's rare for someone to have a chat with me." The terrifying voice replied without much change from the slowly rotating dark vortex. Trissy's facial muscles twitched involuntarily, still unable to get used to the ravings of this evil god's equal. She paused for a few seconds before saying, "I want to know if there are any unorthodox ways to enter the 9 secret mausoleums built by Blood Emperor Tudor for becoming the Black Emperor." It was unknown where he was, but Mr. Door's ethereal laughter sounded through the endless void. "So it's because of this. This isn't difficult. I'll give you a symbol. You can gather the blood of Beyonders from different pathways and mix them together. Mixing it with your spirituality, draw the symbol in front of the mausoleum. Then, you can open the secret passage that leads into it." As the existence spoke, sparks separated from the dark vortex, forming a rather complicated symbol in midair. It was like doors that were stacked in decreasing sizes, as they randomly extended without end. Trissy held back the excruciating pain of her spirit body tearing apart. She memorized the symbol and sought confirmation. There must be blood from all 22 Beyonder pathways. Each pathway only requires the blood of a Beyonder, regardless of his sequence. How much blood of each pathway is required? Mr. Door replied in the same way that he had been raving in earlier. "Right. There's no need for too much. Just a small tube will do. Just guarantee that the symbol drawing can be finished." Although Trissy wore a painful grimace, she couldn't help but smile when she received the critical information. This, combined with her overall expression, made her appear odd, as though she was a lunatic. After completing her main goal, Trissy asked again to ensure smooth cooperation with Jayaman Sparrow in the future. The Abraham family wants to know how to get rid of the ancient curse. The dark vortex was silent for a few seconds before sighing. "Set up such a ritual. Sacrifice one of the demigods of the Seer, Apprentice, and Marauder pathway. Once I leave the storm and penetrate the darkness, the curse will no longer exist." Trissy wasn't interested in how the Abraham family could escape the ancient curse. After receiving the answer, she couldn't take it any longer. As she thanked Mr. Door, she began to stop the ritual. As for Mr. Door, he didn't attempt to bewitch, threaten, or corrupt her. After the dark fire vortex disintegrated and the ritual ended, Trissy began to cogitate, spending nearly an hour to calm the effects of Mr. Door's ravings. After doing all of this, Trissy took out a pen and paper and copied the symbol provided by Mr. Door. She described the two answers in detail. She knew that she was being pursued by Saintess of White Katarina, and there seemed to be even more terrifying hunters that would follow her wake. It was very difficult for her to find the blood of Beyonders of different pathways that quickly, so she planned on leaving this matter to Jayaman Sparrow. In addition, she believed that even if George III and the others believed that there was no problem with the secret mausoleum and that it was safe enough, thus, not leaving too many guards, there were still precautions inside. It wasn't something that a Sequence 4 could quickly force their way through and cause damage. That way, they would be stopped by the reinforcements and lose their best chance. As for Jayaman Sparrow, even his messenger was at the level of an angel. The strength of the organization behind him was obvious, so they had the ability to destroy the mausoleum at the critical moment, causing the Black Emperor ritual to fail. She couldn't complete it herself, so of course she had to find assistance from someone with the ability to accomplish it. After throwing the letter into a mailbox on a nearby street, the black-haired, black-coated Trissy slowly walked down in the cold and lonely road. On the dim road, she looked at the light from the gas lamps and laughed self-deprecatingly. For the sake of a little indignation, I've actually gone this far. You're lucky, at least I'll avenge you. And if I die, apart from those who hate me, no one will remember me. After receiving the letter from Miss Messenger, Klein sat on the chair and read it several times. Before he went above the gray fog to divine the authenticity of Mr. Door's method, he subconsciously thought about how quickly he could gather the blood from the 22 Beyonder pathways. This symbol is very similar to the symbol behind Miss Magician's chair. I can use my own for Seer. For Apprentice, I can find Miss Magician and also give her some pressure to write. There are 3 choices for the Marauder pathway. Transform a marionette into a mosquito and send a mosquito to bite Hazel. Obtain it from Vice Admiral Iceberg's third mate named Flowery Bow Tie, and lastly, get it from Leonard's grandpa. The Spectator pathway, Miss Justice. The Bard pathway, Little Sun. The Storm pathway, Mr. Hanged Man. The Reader pathway, Vice Admiral Iceberg or that demigod named Luca. Secret suppliant, get the second mate of Ma'am Hermit, Bloodless Heath Doyle. The Corpse Collector pathway, Numinous Episcopates Patrick Bryan. The Sleepless pathway, My Dear Poet. The Warrior pathway, most of the citizens of the City of Silver or Father Atravsky. Planter Frank, Apothecary Emlyn. Arbiter Missio, Lawyer Marionette Konas. Hunter, Danitz or Anderson. Demoness, get Trissy to provide it herself. Prisoner, Miss Sharon or Marie. Criminal, I temporarily have no targets. Mystery Prior, Ma'am Hermit. Savant, Frank's experiment assistant. Monster, Marionette Nun-El. From the looks of it, most of them can be obtained in a very short period of time. The corresponding channels have sufficient trust in me and believe that I wouldn't curse them with their blood. This Demoness Trissy definitely has a way to eliminate the connection between the blood and the actual body. She won't object, only devil. Although I've encountered a few, they have either died or fled. Currently, I have no target in mind. Yes, I can ask Little Sun if the City of Silver has any devil flesh and blood left in its inventory. They will encounter some from time to time. If he hadn't thought about it, Klein wouldn't have realized that, in less than 2 years of his transmigration, he had actually established a deeper connection with most of the Beyonder pathways. He immediately retracted his thoughts and seriously considered Mr. Door's escape ritual. Sacrifice one of each. Marauder, Apprentice, and Seer demigods. These are the 3 pathways that can be interchanged. Mr. Door wants to temporarily reconcile the 3 pathways and use an ingenious method to open the passage to return. The demigods of these 3 pathways aren't that easy to capture. It's possible for the Abraham family to do so at its peak. After the death of the High Sequence Beyonders in the War of the 4 Emperors and the corresponding setbacks, it's pretty much hopeless. If Mr. Door could be more patient and give the descendants more time to grow, it wouldn't be impossible. However, he still constantly cries for help, causing the deaths of promising descendants. Is he crazy, a lunatic who looks like a normal person? After some thought, he burned the letter and went above the gray fog to do 2 divinations. The revelations he received was that the method to enter the secret mausoleum was real. Mr. Door's return ritual was also true. Looking at the spirit pendulum in his hand, he sat silently in the high-back chair for a long time. After a few minutes, he clenched his left hand and gripped the topaz pendant tightly. He muttered to himself, "All there is left is to wait for the Bizarro Sorcerer Potion to be completely digested, and for George III to hold the ritual."